Most people do not stay broke because they do not make enough money. They stay broke because they keep repeating the same behaviors with money over and over again and then acting confused when nothing changes. That's the truth. A lot of people think the answer is more income, more money, a better job, a side hustle, a lucky break. And don't get me wrong, making more money helps. Of course it does. But if your habits are still emotional, impulsive, insecure, and inconsistent, more money does not fix the problem. It just gives the problem a bigger budget. Let's be honest. Some of the worst financial decisions people make have nothing to do with math. They have everything to do with insecurity, everything to do with ego, everything to do with stress, comparison, boredom, loneliness, and the need to feel like you're doing okay. You buy things to feel better. You spend money to reward yourself. You upgrade your lifestyle too early. You avoid looking at your bank account when you already know you've been moving stupid. And then you tell yourself you have a money problem. No, the real issue here is that you don't have a money problem, you have a behavior problem. And if I'm being honest, that's actually good news, because behavior can be changed. But first, you have to stop lying to yourself about what's really going on. In this video, I'm going to break down the behaviors that quietly keep people broke, why they do them, and how to actually fix them without turning your life into some fake productivity experiment. What's one thing you regret wasting money on? Comment below. The reason this matters so much is because bad money psychology does not usually ruin your life in one dramatic moment. It ruins your life slowly, quietly. It leaks through your habits, through the random food orders, the dumb impulse buys, the nights out you could not afford, the subscriptions you forgot about, the clothes you bought for attention, the tech you bought for dopamine, the car payment you took on because you wanted to look like you were winning. This is where people get themselves in trouble. They think being bad with money means doing something huge and reckless. But most of the time, it's smaller than that. It's emotional spending, validation seeking, lifestyle inflation, social media comparison, buying things because you had a bad day, buying things because you had a good day, buying things because everybody else looks like they're ahead and you don't want to feel left behind. So now you've got people who are stressed, underinvested, inconsistent, and financially fragile, but on the outside, they look fine. They look successful. They look put together. They look expensive. Meanwhile, they have no peace, no margin, no real control, and no plan. And that's the trap. A lot of people are staying broke while looking rich. One person uses money to manage emotion. Another person uses money to build freedom. Those two people can make the exact same income and end up in completely different lives. That's the whole point here. Your financial future is not just built by what you earn. It's built by who you become every time money touches your hands. The first behavior that keeps people stuck is insecurity spending. This is when you buy things because you want to feel important, attractive, successful, respected, grown, or ahead. Not because you actually need the thing. Not even because you really want the thing. You want what the thing says about you. And let's be honest, this is way more common than people admit. A guy will finance a car he cannot comfortably afford, not because he loves cars like that, but because he wants people to see him differently. Somebody will spend stupid money on clothes, watches, dinners, or bottle service because deep down they do not feel solid without the extra image. They need the purchase to carry confidence that they do not naturally have. Psychologically, this happens because a lot of people confuse looking valuable with being valuable. That's the real issue here. If your self-worth is weak, money becomes a costume. You start using spending as performance. You're not building a life, you're building a visual. And that destroys your future because every dollar you use to impress people is a dollar you are not using to build stability. You delay saving, you delay investing, you delay freedom, you delay peace. You are basically stealing from your future self so your current self can feel seen for 5 minutes. Here's a line I want you to remember. Looking rich buys attention, but being rich buys options, and options matter way more. A lot of broke people do not look broke anymore. That's the problem. The image got upgraded, but the life did not. So what's the fix? Simple. Before you buy anything that is appearance-based, status-based, or social, ask yourself one question. Would I still want this if nobody saw it? If the answer is no, there's a good chance you are not buying for yourself. You are buying for validation. And validation is one of the most expensive addictions on the internet. The second behavior is emotional spending. This is probably one of the biggest ones. People spend when they are stressed, bored, lonely, frustrated, anxious, insecure, or just mentally tired. Buying something gives them a quick hit. A little rush, a little relief, a little fake sense of control, and that's why it's dangerous because it works in the moment. That's the thing people do not talk about enough. Emotional spending is not random, it is a coping mechanism. You feel off, so you spend. You feel empty, so you order something. You feel like life is heavy, so you buy a little reward. It becomes your version of self-soothing, but short-term comfort creates long-term pressure. You get the dopamine now, and the stress later. You feel better for 20 minutes and worse for the next 2 weeks. Then guilt kicks in, then avoidance kicks in, then you stop checking your account because you already know you've been reckless. And once you start avoiding your money starts controlling you. This is what keeps people stuck. not one huge purchase. 100 tiny emotional decisions that all feel harmless by themselves. And one of the biggest traps here is I deserve it spending. You had a bad day? You deserve it. You got paid? You deserve it. You worked hard this week? You deserve it. You made progress this month? You deserve it. And now deserve has become your excuse for staying broke. Look, I'm not saying never enjoy your money. That's not the point. The point is that if every emotion turns into a reason to spend, then your wallet is basically attached to your mood. And that is a horrible system. If I were you, I would make emotional spending harder immediately. Remove your saved cards, unfollow the pages that keep tempting you, stop browsing when you are bored, and create one simple rule. If it is not essential, wait 24 hours. That pause matters, because the goal is to separate the urge from the action. You do not need to trust your feelings every time they tell you to buy something. The third behavior is choosing rich looking over rich being. This is a massive one, especially for people in their 20s, because everybody wants signs of progress. Everybody wants proof that they are moving up. And in a culture where everybody is posting highlights, patience feels invisible. So what do people do? They upgrade early, they make a little more money, and suddenly the apartment gets nicer, the car gets nicer, the outfits get nicer, the restaurants get nicer, and the weekends get more expensive. Not because they are financially secure, just because they want to feel like they're not behind anymore. This is where people get themselves in trouble. They increase expenses before they increase assets. That means every raise disappears. Every extra dollar gets absorbed into lifestyle. And now they need to keep earning at that level just to maintain the image they built too fast. One guy gets a raise and immediately upgrades his life. Another guy gets a raise and quietly upgrades his future. Same income bump. Completely different mindset. The first guy buys things that create pressure. The second guy buys time, margin, and peace. That's the difference. Social media makes this even worse because normal progress now feels embarrassing. If you are living below your means, driving something basic, repeating outfits, and not posting luxury, a lot of people feel like they are failing, but that's backwards. Half the people flexing online are one emergency away from panic. Here's another line worth remembering. The fastest way to stay broke is to make your lifestyle rise faster than your discipline. So what do? Cap your lifestyle inflation. Every time your income goes up, part of that increase should be locked away automatically. Savings, investing, debt payoff. Something real. Something that actually improves your position. Do that before you let your spending expand. Because if you cannot handle a raise without turning it into more bills, more income is not going to save you. The fourth behavior is scarcity thinking. And this one is sneaky because it sometimes looks responsible on the surface. Scarcity thinking is when you constantly feel like there's never enough. So you grip your money too tightly. You overthink everything, you stay fearful, and you keep telling yourself you'll start building wealth later when you feel ready. But later never comes. A lot of people are so afraid of losing money that they guarantee they never grow it. They avoid investing, they avoid learning, they keep everything in cash. They delay every serious financial move because they are trying to avoid making a mistake. But if you spend 10 years waiting to feel perfectly safe, you are still paying a price. Inflation is a price, lost time is a price, hesitation is a price, and the truth is most people do not avoid investing because it is too complicated. They avoid it because they are scared of being wrong, scared of losing, scared of feeling stupid. The real issue here is not lack of information. It is fear with a financial costume on. Scarcity thinking also makes people weird with money. They panic over small costs but ignore big patterns. They cling to what they have but do not build what they need. They focus so much on not losing that they never put themselves in position to win. So the fix is not to become reckless. The fix is to start small and make growth normal. If you are scared, start with a small automatic transfer. Something almost boring. The amount does not need to impress anybody. The habit is the win. You are trying to become a person who builds. That identity matters more than the number in the beginning, because once good behavior becomes normal, increasing the amount gets easier. The fifth behavior is self-sabotage after progress. This one is painful because a lot of people actually do make progress. They save a little. They get disciplined for a month. They stop wasting money. They finally start feeling in control, and then they ruin it. One dumb weekend, one emotional relapse, one random reward spree. One I've been good lately mindset, and suddenly they are back in the same cycle again. Why does this happen? Because some people are more familiar with chaos than discipline. Stability feels unnatural to them. Being on track feels boring. So the moment life gets too calm, they create a setback. Not always on purpose. But the pattern is still there, and identity plays a huge role here. If deep down you still see yourself as bad with money, irresponsible, impulsive, always behind, always inconsistent, then sooner or later your behavior will try to match that identity. You will act like the person you believe you are. That is why random motivation does not last. If your identity stays the same, your habits eventually drift back. This is what keeps people stuck for years. They keep proving progress is possible, then immediately proving they cannot hold it. And every time that happens, trust in yourself drops. So here is the fix. Stop treating discipline like a temporary phase. Stop saying, I'm trying to be better with money. That language is weak. That language leaves the door open. Say something stronger. Say, I am the type of person who does not sabotage progress. Say, I do not reset my life every time I feel emotional. Say, I protect momentum. That matters. Because the whole point here is not one perfect month. It is becoming someone your future can rely on. So let me give you a practical reset framework. If you actually want to fix your money, do not start with some complicated spreadsheet or guru routine. Start by telling the truth. Go look at your last 30 days of spending. All of it. Not the version you want to remember. The real version. Every purchase, every order, every swipe, every stupid little leak, then label each one honestly. Was it a need, convenience, boredom, validation, emotional relief, trying to fit in, trying to feel better, trying to reward yourself? This step matters because most people do not have a clear money system. They have emotional patterns they never bothered to name. Next, identify your triggers. What makes you spend stupidly? Stress, payday confidence, social comparison, loneliness, feeling behind, a bad week, a good week. Figure that out because once you see the pattern, the behavior becomes a lot less mysterious. Then create friction. This part is huge. Make bad behavior more annoying. Remove saved payment methods. Unsubscribe from the marketing emails. Stop using shopping apps as entertainment. Use a 24-hour rule. And never shop when you are emotional. That rule alone will save a lot of people. After that, automate the good behavior. Do not rely on motivation. Motivation is unstable. Set up automatic transfers for savings or investing. Handle bills early. Make your money do the right thing before your emotions get a chance to interfere. And finally, tie your money to identity. This is bigger than budgeting, bigger than saving, bigger than tactics. You need to become the kind of person who values peace over appearance. The kind of person who does not need to look rich to feel important. The kind of person who can make a little extra money without instantly turning it into extra lifestyle. The kind of person who understands that discipline is not punishment. It is protection, because once your identity changes, the behavior gets lighter. It stops feeling like restriction and starts feeling like self-respect. At the end of the day, your bank account is not just showing your income. It is showing your habits. It is showing your emotional patterns. It is showing your discipline, your insecurity, your patience, your impulsiveness, your priorities. That's why you don't have a money problem. You have a behavior problem. And again, that is not an insult. That is actually the most useful thing you can realize. Because if behavior is the problem, then behavior is also the solution. You do not need more fake motivation. You do not need to pretend to be rich. You do not need another excuse. You need better defaults, better awareness, better rules, better self-control. Small things repeated consistently. That is how people actually change their financial life. If you enjoyed the video, drop a like down below. Hit that subscribe button.